World of Warcraft is doing something they should have done for the longest time. Telling the story of the game in the game. Wild idea, I know, but let's talk about it. Hello everyone, I am Jmulls, and 11.17 is shaping up to be quite the patch. We're getting new story in the Xal'atath Highlands, we're getting the built-in Hikili add-on, and also the one-button rotation. But alongside all of that, we are getting an entire new mode, Lorewalking with Lorewalking. Yeah, they're bringing the panda back. This is what Blizzard had to say about it. Players level 10 and above can speak with Lorewalking in either Stormwind, Orgrimmar, or Donegal for a renewed questing experience. You'll step back into some iconic lore moments in Azeroth with both previous quests and a few new ones. There are 3 available repeatable quest chains. Number 1, meet the Etherealss. Travel to Netherstorm to fight Dimensius, meet up with Illyria and Locust Walker in Legion, and head into the Shadowlands to meet the Brokers and gain access to Tazavech. You'll also meet up with Venari. Interesting that we're dealing with the Brokers in a quest called the Etherealss, or Meet the Etherealss if you want to be technical about it. Experience Xal'atath's storyline. Learn more about the Blade of the Black Empire in Legion. See how Xal'atath gained her body in battle for Azeroth, and go back in time to the Black Empire to experience Xal'atath's encounter with the Old Gods. I am particularly looking forward to that one. And the final one, so far, face the past with Office. While Lorewalking, you won't be able to undertake any other quests, but you'll be able to exit anytime you like and return to Lorewalking. I managed to play a part of the Xal'atath one on the PTR, and it's pretty dang good. Kind of busted though, it crashed on me twice within 5 minutes. Of each crash specifically. So I didn't manage to actually beat the entire thing. However, overall, I think the construction of this system is kind of what the game needed if it really wants to start taking its story and its storytelling seriously. I think the Xal'atath one is a great example of this. That is a character that started out as an artifact weapon in Legion for Shadow Priest, but not everyone plays a Shadow Priest. And now that Xal'atath has become kind of the big main antagonist right now, there's a lot of people that just haven't experienced the storyline for the most part throughout this game, and I'm kind of one of them. Now, you can always just go back to Legion and do all of those quests, but, also, let's be fair here, who's really going to do that besides the most dedicated people out there? Most of the more casual audience probably isn't going to do that, so having a replacement scenario like this, like Lorewalking, which essentially takes you back throughout all of those scenarios with that character, to allow you to relive them, to experience what it was like, experiencing that story just at an accelerated rate, but also at the pace that you want, because if you talk to Lorewalking, you can ask for context. It's like, oh, maybe you don't know what an old god is. If you do, you don't have to ask Lorewalking, but if you don't, you can ask him specifically about, yo dude, what the heck's an old god? And he'll just tell you. And if you want specification about each of the old gods individually, he'll also do that. This system also allows you to view older cutscenes that were in the game back then, instead of relying on people going back to YouTube. And the fact that these quests are repeatable in-game, this is a good resource to have just for everyone, because there's a lot of story in this game, and there's been a lot of story throughout the history of Warcraft. People can just simply forget things, so going back and just replaying one of these scenarios and asking Lorewalking specific questions, that's a really nice feature in my opinion. I believe I saw with the Office one as well. I haven't played that one, but I believe I've seen scenarios where you can play as Office himself. You can take this system and really go with it and have fun with it, and to tell stories that either you need to make specific choices in the past, like what you played as, etc., and allow the wider player base to have access to those stories in-game, or also, if a story doesn't involve your champion, like your player character, instead of relying on, say, go read a book, jabroni, you can now just say, go play the game. And that's a good direction. That's a really dang good direction, in my opinion. This has been a constant source of feedback for the longest time when it it came to World of Warcraft. Just tell your story in the game. It wasn't necessarily a problem that there were books or novels or anything like that, like outside resources and third-party stuff, right? It's the fact that main story, things that were so important, the context, a lot of character development and moments just didn't happen in the game. But if you have a system like this, and if they properly expand on it and flesh it out, and really show this system some honest-to-God love in the future, you can still have those outside resources if you want. But you can tell the important stuff, the things that matter, within the confines of the game, and allow players to peruse it and to have access to it at their own pace. And to also be able to come back to it. How many times has there been a cutscene in World of Warcraft that you thought was really dang cool, but the way to review it was just convoluted or something? Just go talk to Lorewalking, and if it's involved in one of these scenarios, well, Bob's your uncle. What a breath of fresh air this is turning out to be. Is it the best thing ever? Is it the most engaging gameplay ever? No, it's like crap easy. But what I think this represents is a shift in mindset for Blizzard, continuing to double down on the importance of the modern story, but also the importance of telling that story in the way that it's conveyed to the player. Xal'atath is a pretty interesting villain. I like her a lot. For a lot of people, though, they just haven't had experience with that character, despite the fact that she's been in the game since Legion. But now, when we are about to go like full send into really important story leading into Midnight and stuff like that, they're bringing in a feature that allows people to catch up to speed. And this is a feature that, in my opinion, doesn't just have to be relegated for previous stories in the past of World of Warcraft or even Warcraft overall. But what it can also do is showcase various elements and segments of the world where your player character isn't involved. Have us role-play as other NPCs, learning about things that happen elsewhere to other characters. It's been talked about on Wowhead that a fourth scenario, a fourth lore-walking quest was found involving Lorthamoth Thiron and Magister Umbric, essentially the Blood Elves and the Void Elves. And considering the fact that Midnight, the next expansion for World of Warcraft, is going back to Quell Thalas, what a great opportunity to catch people up to speed with a story that was told, again, way back when. But maybe not everyone has done it, but now they have access to it. You don't have to go and do the Void Elf recruitment scenario, anything like that. You have this handy-dandy quest line in the game you can access whenever to catch yourself up to speed, and maybe they reveal even more things there. Who knows? It's something that can be simple, but I think should constantly be iterated on and fleshed out in the future, because this could do so much good for the storytelling in World of Warcraft. Is it necessarily the most interesting piece of gameplay of all time? No. Could it be further improved in the future? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But this is a massive step in the right direction, in my opinion. There's another nice little element to all of this. It's like, yeah, on the PTR, when you do a lore-walking quest, and bear in mind, for each of these, like, scenarios, there's, like, multiple quests that go into them, but for the Xal'atath one, when you do that segment that involves actually getting the knife back in Legion, that's one quest. And you get a little bag that gives you some transmog afterwards. I just got like a Retribution Paladin weapon. It was that two-handed mace the Naru guy used in the Burning Crusade cinematic. So I imagine you just get a bit of old transmog. But the point here is, in my opinion, the cool element to all of this is that if you already know the story for like what they're doing when it comes to a lore-walking questline, you just don't have to do it. I mean, unless they make it mandatory at some point in the future, right? But I just don't see them doing that. But, for instance, if you already played a Shadow Priest, chances are you don't need to do any of this because you played through all that story yourself. So if you just want to skip the Xal'atath one, you kinda can. Or if you played Warcraft 3 and you played the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, you already know the story to Arthas, probably could just skip it. It's a good little safety net to allow players to get the context, to get the actual in-game storytelling involved for these characters if they so choose to seek it out. I think it's a really cool thing. I want to be clear about something. This is not going to completely change World of Warcraft going forward. New storylines, new questlines have to continue to retain the storytelling they managed to do with the War Within and with 11.1 and continue to get better. But ever since the War Within, I have become far more positive and optimistic not only for the current state of the story and storytelling for World of Warcraft, but for the future potential as well. Is everything a 10 out of 10? No. no, but compared to where we just were before this in World of Warcraft, it's a hell of a lot better. And if the story and storytelling and tone and atmosphere and the writing beats continue to improve alongside implementing resources in the game like Lorewalking, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. I'm giving thumbs up and I'm winking. Heck, I have a smile on my face. Ear to bloody ear. I think the make it or break it part of this system going forward will be the continued quality of each individual lore-walking questline, but also the frequency of them. Because if this is just like forgotten about for an entire expansion and we get like one new update, you know what I mean? I feel like this needs to be frequently updated with cool and also relevant parts of the story. And sure, you could just use it as a way to aggregate all the individual questlines that involve a particular topic over the course of World of Warcraft, and just let the player shotgun them back to back to back. Sure, you can do that, but I think that would severely limit the potential of a system like this. And in the future, I would love to see this system incorporate new storylines and new stories that take place across Azeroth that, like I said before, don't involve the player character. I don't need like 15 a patch or anything like that, but every now and then would be nice. But I think the Ethereal's Xal'atath story, and then also dealing with Arthas, is a pretty good, starting point for a system like this. And so long as we ignore Shadowlands, which is, kind of what they're doing here, by the way, when you read the actual description for the Arthas stuff, the story of Arthas and the Lich King is one of the most well-beloved and memorable storylines in all of Warcraft. Again, ignoring Shadowlands. And then you have Xal'atath and the Ethereals being increasingly relevant right now. I mean, in all likelihood, we're going to head to the Ethereal homeworld in the near future at some point. So again, overall, pretty good stuff. Really cool change, really cool addition to the game. And I think with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It'd really help the channel out and help support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And leave a comment down below with which lore-walking questline are you most looking forward to, and what would you love to see told in the future with a system like this. I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.